and welcome to Coffee with Will, brought to you by Northwest Furniture and Mattress, Grand Ron Hospital, anythingtodigital.com, EONI, and See Bright Dentistry. And I'm here today with Dale Mammen, who is the lead force behind the Liberty Theater restoration project here in town, and also a longtime investor in our small town of La Grande, Oregon. So thank you so much for being here with me, Dale. We have been trying to get Dale into the office or into the studio to have coffee with me for quite some time, but he is a very busy person, and as he will tell you, and so now we've finally gotten him in here, and it's a pleasure to have him. So,
thank you.
So tell me a little bit about where is the Liberty Theater project at, and you've mentioned 4 Ps, which on several occasions you've mentioned to me about what they are, the 4 Ps of the Liberty Theater. What are those, and how are they manifesting right now?
Thank you. Actually, these 4 Ps are the Liberty Theater. They can be applied to personal life or personal projects, whatever endeavors one might have. And let me share those with you. First is planning. It's easier to make changes on paper or in dialogue than it is to build bricks and mortars and say, hey, I wish I had. You can do the planning phase with just a pencil.
Pre-production in the film world.
There you go, pre-production, that's where it is.
Now another P, you have so many Ps.
And then the second part of this is patience. We all have our agendas. We want to get it done yesterday. We want it done tomorrow. There is a right time and place for each of the events. Whether it's the theater restoration or travel or whatever we might be doing, there's a place. Planning, patience, perseverance. Perseverance is the key that many people who start out as an entrepreneur forget about. They get frustrated, they get discouraged, they stop. Perseverance, I don't understand the word can't do or no. There may be obstacles that require a detour. It's sort of like a running river that changes courses over the years. You have to be ready for opportunities. Wow, I didn't think about that yesterday, but I'm thinking about it today. And then finally, the magic word is politics.
Which is not, it was just the word you don't talk about at your kitchen table, but it exists.
Now, politics is that really great word or it's a really bad word, depending on the situation, the environment, the conversation topics. Politics in this sense is the broad term people, getting the people involved, whether it's the citizens of La Grande, the state of Oregon, or nationally, but spreading this passion to make something happen to the people. Then if we can focus as part of that on the politicians, those elected officials, that's sort of the next step in politics. So it's not a bad thing, it's a good thing because it's the broader people.
That's interesting, because I've always thought of politics as being related to power, but you think of it as being related to people. And the politicians are only a part of that. How is that kind of, like, how is it more about people than power?
I'm going to pick up on 2 words you've used. Power. The people have the power. The people are the voters. The people who can choose or reject what is happening. If politicians, those that they choose, don't conform or don't represent them adequately, the people is where the power really is. And once we recognize that, then the word politics, planning, patience, perseverance, and the people. And then, but the politics is the mechanism by which this whole process is put together. So it's a very intriguing, whether it's a private entrepreneurial venture. 25 years ago, we put together with 4 different families the Rendezvous RV Resort. 25 years later, it's a very successful operation within the city limits of La Grande. As somebody said, it's a best-kept secret. But it required lots of modifications of some politicians in power's thinking. And we're at the same...
Which involves patience and politics.
That same phase, the same language in dealing with folks on the Liberty Theater restoration.
Sure. Now, you can feel free to, talk about this as much as you want to or don't want to, in keeping with how much you want to say about it. I mean, recently the Liberty Theater was by the city denied some money and denied some stuff, and so I think a lot of the patience aspect of your 4 Ps is kind of coming in here. How is the patience? How are you kind of in that stage right now with the Liberty Theater, and what do you do, or do you do anything? Like, what's your strategy here?
And that's an excellent question, because most of the folks, and initially we were not asking for money. We were asking for a commitment that we could take to the legislature and say, see what urban renewal, see what the city of LeGrand has done.
Sure.
That's what they denied us, is putting it in the budget for if we got legislative money.
Sure.
We took it as a winner. We then focused on the fact that they'd already given us $150,000 to buy the building. That's the only communications that went to the legislature that urban renewal was involved. So that's this flexibility and patience and looking at. So it was a great report that we could make to the legislature and say, look, these folks have already given us $150,000. Rather, oh, poor me.
Yeah. Give us money.
Yeah.
Like, we've got something here. These people are invested. Yeah.
And there will be ample opportunities tomorrow for the city or urban renewal or the people, the citizens, the taxpayers to get involved with the project. And this has been an interesting project. I actually started this project with a group of folks committed to restoring the theater in 2010, 7 years ago.
Which is just about the time I was arriving in LeGrand.
And that one had some interesting phenomena. It took 7 months to politically relocate a successful business in the theater property. And that's a slow process, but when it was done, it turned out to be a win-win for us and a win-win for the business that was relocated.
Sure.
But that was the planning, patience, and perseverance. So this first 6 years has been in developing the nonprofit organization, getting the board of directors and then bringing in new folks to help there. And we're right now at a transition where the slow, small grants and contributions, and there have been some substantial contributions. We've had a few $10,000 and a $20,000 donation, anonymous at this point, to bring this to stage, and we're about $850,000 already in the project, and that includes a tremendous amount of community volunteer hours.
Sure.
And so when we go to the legislature or the grant folks, we can say, here's what we've done. We've already contributed. The community has contributed. The people have contributed almost $1 million.
Sure.
So this was and building the ask for the legislature. That was done last Friday, and that is in committee until towards the end of the legislative session, which I understand is July 11th in that neighborhood.
Sure.
So we're not going to have any assurance and that's money that is dependent on the sale of bonds, so the actual cash is not available for 2 years.
Sure.
But that doesn't mean we can't do some things in the meantime.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So I think the big question right now that is kind of rattling through everybody's mind, and maybe your own, is the why question. Why is the Liberty Theater a project worth investing in? Why is it economically? And you've been investing in LeGrand since you said you moved here what year?
1967.
1967.
Yeah.
Why is the Liberty Theater something that you've chosen to put your entrepreneurship into, and why is it important for downtown LeGrand? And why should people, and possibly, on a big, as in keeping with your politics definition, people on a bigger scale use their power to invest in this thing?
And that's an excellent question, because it goes back about 7 years now, 8 years, when I had the opportunity to tour the building with Howard Butts, the then owner of the building. And as I walked into the building, and then we got behind some closed doors and upstairs, there, standing untouched for 50 or 60 years, was the wonderful 1930 chandelier. 7 feet tall, weighing 500 pounds, hanging from the ceiling, untouched. The bones of the theater had been untouched. What had been done, which thanks to the folks 1959 to 61, put in a box, false ceiling and false floor. Everything below that false floor remained intact. Everything above the false ceiling remained intact. And very quickly, I said, one of two things is going to happen. It's a 100-year-old building. It's either going to be restored or it's going to be torn down and made into a parking lot. What choices were there? That became the heartthrob of my passion for working to restore it.
So it's an investment in a historical building for you.
It's an investment in a historic building. The bones of the building are solid, dating back to the original. And so it's an investment in downtown LeGrand and in the historical district of LeGrand that folks your age and older folks are looking for authenticity, something that is real. Anybody can go to Walmart and experience Walmart. But to experience downtown LeGrand, the historical place, and across America, there are hundreds of these theaters being restored as the heartthrob and restoration and economic development of downtown. In the three-county area, four-county area, Baker, Union, Wallowa, and Umatilla, there are 7 theaters in various stages of restoration. And so once those happen, and some of them have been in process for 2 years, some of them for 10 years, some have just discovered where there was a theater. But the exciting thing is that will someday, be a network of exchanging class, culture, experiences that people can come to Eastern Oregon, and we can bring in quality productions because they're on the tour from Boise to Spokane, Boise to Seattle, Boise to Portland. And the other thing that we want to do is to provide at some point live productions from New York. So, and all that technology is readily available. So here in Little Eastern Oregon in LeGrand, we really created a center of family entertainment. And the term, the living room of LeGrand, is adopted and permeated. And if you think about, you go to home, you have your family. You go to your neighborhood, you have your neighborhood. This is a place where the whole community can come together, where you can sit down and chat with strangers.
Drink a beer,
there you
eat
go.
Some popcorn, watch something on the boob.
Go to the brew pub. And yeah, so that's really what it is. It's
the living room of LeGrand.
The living room of LeGrand.
Well, I think that pretty aptly sums up your vision in a lot of ways. And I wish we had another hour because I would have so many more questions to chat with you about. But that is the tragic reality of doing this for an internet television station. I have many questions unanswered. But thank you so much for coming in and chatting with me, Dale. And thank you, LeGrand Alive, for tuning in. This has been Coffee with Will and Dale Mammen, brought to you by Northwest Furniture and Mattress, Grand Ron Hospital, anything2digital.com, EONI, and Seabright Dentistry. Thank you for tuning in. Please like and share the video and tune in for more local content. I'm Will Bowman.